So you want to polish your motorcycle tank. So here's the tank here. As you can see, there's a bunch of water soap spots on there. But there's also a lot of scratches that you can hopefully see. There's a few really deep ones that they're not going to come out with polish, I don't think. So, but there's a lot of other, varying levels of scratches. These here are a little bit deeper, and then you've also just got your regular swirl marks everywhere. So I'm going to clean this up, and I'll show you again the level of scratching we're dealing with. But the first thing that you're going to want to do when you're polishing a tank, I'm just going to go step by step here really quick. So this is the first step I'm going to use. Optimum No Rinse, or ONR. You can just put, what I like to do most of the time with this is actually just put some in a spray bottle. I'm using this Griot's Garage spray bottle because they work really good and they're big. So the label's inaccurate on this, but this is ONR mixed with water. I just put probably a couple capfuls, a couple of these caps full of ONR in one of these bottles, and fill the rest with distilled water. You want to make sure it's distilled water so that you don't get water spots. Because if you use tap water, although ONR is a very good water softener, so it will really help. It will help to alleviate water spots even when using tap water. But ideally, you want distilled water because it just gives the best result. So your first step here is you're going to spray your towel. You just want to get it damp, right? And then you spray the area you're going to be working on. You want to get it pretty well soaked. And then you just, if it's very dirty, you want to just wipe it in one direction, and then fold your towel or flip your towel, come back, wipe in one direction again, and then just keep flipping the towel as you go, and that's going to prevent you from dragging dirt and grime across the paint. You kind of just want to go with it and kind of lift up as you're going, that kind of action. And you want to be soft when you're doing this. Just go gently and just kind of pull the stuff off. This is extremely clean already, so I'm just kind of doing that as an example. So if I go back, I know I'm not going to hurt anything. I already cleaned this, and I already clayed it. But that's the next step. I just did it ahead of time, so this video is not hours long. So then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to clay it. Now you can use a clay towel or a clay sponge from like Nanoskin or whatever you like. Here's both of those items that I've used. So here's the handy towel. This is a great option. They last a really long time. If you drop them, you can just rinse them off. And then here's another one. This is the fine grade auto scrub sponge. So it's got the material on here and it'll hold a lot of product in it. So you can either use one of those, and if you do use a clay towel, I highly recommend using the Nanoskin Glide, because it seems to just work the absolute best at with those products. Otherwise, I've noticed they kind of end up sticking to the paint, and then they leave little smudge marks, which you really just don't want. So the next step is to clay it here, right? So what you're going to do is, using the same solution, just ONR with water, you can just spray it down with the regular clay bar, and then you kind of want to make sure your clay is a little bit warm, malleable, soft, right? And then you spray your clay bar down, and then you just kind of lightly go over all the painted surfaces. And what I like to use is about the pressure it would take to shave. That's the pressure. If you're shaving hair off of skin, is the pressure you want to use when doing this. And you'll find little bumps in there, and those bumps are just pieces of bonded contaminant, right, that you want to get off of the paint. So that's the claying process. You could also, another good thing to do would be to use an iron remover so that you get any of the iron particles off of this. You could do that. You could wash it and then use your iron remover. You can use your iron remover and then wash it and then clay it. You know, anywhere in there, it's just little bits of iron get into the paint, and using an iron remover helps. Although claying helps as well. You know, if you clay a car, it's going to have a lot less iron left on it after claying, but using an actual dedicated iron decon is the best bet. So after that, after you're done claying and everything, right, I would dry it off again, and then the next step is get a new towel, which I don't have, sorry, not that prepared. Okay, get a new towel that's in good shape. You don't want anything stuck to it. You don't want to be cleaning your wheels with this and then run it through the washer and then use it for this. So this, you want a very good condition towel, right? Then I'm going to use Gyeon Prep, and this is a basically oil and wax remover, oil and grease remover. It's what you're supposed to use before putting a coating on, right? So you know that this stuff is going to work to get the paint extremely clean. It's not going to have any other surfactants or anything left behind after you use it. So you want to spray it on there, and you can actually let it sit for a little bit, and that'll give it some time to actually break down whatever grease and grime is on it. So that's the best thing to do, is let it sit for a while, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to kind of give it a wipe down. And this stuff works really good, so it doesn't need a whole lot of time to dwell anyway. Alright, now we've got this paint decontaminated, so we know there's not any stuff on there that's going to get caught up in our pad. There's nothing on the surface that's going to interfere with our polishing process. So we've just got really clean, bare paint. Okay, so now I'll show you again those scratches I was talking about. You can see now really well, there's just a lot of swirl marks, and that's probably just from improper washing or improper claying. And then these are from like a belt buckle, right, where they had a belt buckle on and they were trying to maneuver this thing or something and they didn't notice it was happening. So those are some deeper ones. And this one here is like a gash. You can see it's actually like you could feel it with your fingernail. So that's not going to come out with polishing no matter what we do. And these, I'm actually not really sure how deep they are yet until we get after it. So next, you're going to start polishing. Make sure you can still see there. Okay. So for something like this, that's got a lot of, it's rounded everywhere, and there's kind of intricate areas that you need to get into up in here, down there. Right, so this is the Ibrid Nano Rupes. So this thing works really good for this kind of stuff because you can just get everywhere, get up close to everything, and it's going to work great. So this would be an ideal tool for doing parts of this anyway, right? Where it's big and flat right here, you'd probably be better off with something like a 5-inch pad or maybe a 3-inch pad. Okay, so you can get just a cheap Harbor Freight dual action polisher. They run about 55 bucks on sale. You can get a 3-inch attachment for it for like 10 bucks. And then you'd be good to go on this. Okay, I've got that over there. But say you only have a big polisher with big pads. This is the Flex 3401. This is a Rupes 6-inch pad, so it's so it's a 7-inch diameter right here. This, because it's a fixed gear machine, actually works really good for this kind of stuff because you can use just one part of it. You can use it on its side, and it's going to keep rotating at the same rate. It's not going to stall out by putting pressure on one side of it like it would with a regular free spinning dual action polisher. So you can actually get a lot of this done with a big machine like this. So that's the polisher's rundown. Next thing is you want to test the area before you just go after it, because we don't know how hard or soft this paint is. So you don't want to get a really aggressive pad and your most aggressive compound and just go in and cut away at this, okay, because you could end up taking off way more paint than you need to in order to correct it. Now I've got a paint depth gauge which I've already used on this in all of the areas, and I know that it's got plenty of paint left on it, over about 120 microns, so we've got plenty of paint to work with for what we need to do. The polish I'm going to start out with is Sonax Perfect Finish, and I'm going to start out with this in dual action mode, so it will stall out, right? So this is it's not very aggressive, although the smaller the pad on a dual action polisher, actually the more aggressive it is. And that changes when it goes to rotary. It's the opposite with a rotary. With a dual action, the smaller it is, the more aggressive it is. But this is just a medium cut pad, and we're just using Sonax Perfect Finish, which is, it has some good cut to it, but it's not going to get you into the danger zone at all. Just really good stuff. So I got a little bit too much polish on there, so I'm going to kind of spread it out. But with this small of a pad, you just need just a little dot of polish. So what I'm going to do is just kind of spread this out to just kind of prime this pad with it. That way we're not flinging polish everywhere, because that's never fun. Although this polish is water-based, so if it does get on different parts, such as trim, it's not a major concern, because you can just wipe it off and it's not going to stain it or anything like that. So now we've got polish on there. We're ready to get polishing. I'm sorry if I bumped the camera there. So you want to tap this out, because what it is if you start using it right here without spreading the compound out at all, or the polish out, then it's going to immediately start breaking down where you began, and then it's going to be less effective as soon as you move it to the next place. So you want to get a little bit of polish in your section that you're going to do, right? And I'm starting out here where I know I'm going to have to take off the most amount of paint anyway because it's got the most heavy defects. So then I'm just going to put this on a medium setting, setting 4, and it's not very loud, so you know, if you're using headphones you're probably okay, but just a fair warning. Okay, so I have this little thing at about half speed and light pressure, and just went over it a few times, so not very aggressive. And that's another thing, is you don't want to go, okay, well, I do it by the book, I do 6 section passes every time. So you start out doing your test spot with 6 passes when you might have only needed 2. Right, so I did 3 because I knew we had heavier defects in this area. And then you just go in and remove the excess polish. Let me grab my light here really quick. Alright, so it did actually add a little bit of gloss. You can tell it added a little gloss, but it did not get after those defects. So we know that we need to adjust, right? We need more passes, we need more pressure, we need a more aggressive pad, we need a more aggressive compound. Now, you don't want to do all of those things at once, right? You just want to make 1 or 2 adjustments and go again to get your test spot dialed in. And you also don't want to keep doing your test spot in the same area, because if you do that, what you're doing is you're testing your spot that's already been tested, right? So it's already had some cut happen to it. So then when you go and do something on top of that, then it's been cut twice, rather than knowing what you need to do for the rest of the area. Okay. So then you just go through the whole thing with the proper tool and compound and pressure, and jewel it out to where you get basically the amount of scratches that you want out of it, and to where you're happy with the result. Then what I do after that is I wipe it down with prep again, and then apply sealant or wax. So I'm going to cut it off here because this video is almost 20 minutes long, and I feel like you get the gist of it. If there's anyone that's interested in seeing the whole process, or seeing, you know, the last few steps, let me know, and I can make you another video with the actual correction part and the sealant application in the future. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.